Good morning all. In today's class, we will see the differences between procedural oriented programming languages and object oriented programming languages. Now, we know that C, Fortran and Pascal are procedure oriented programming languages, whereas C++, Java, R and Python are object oriented programming languages. Now here in this we will see what are the differences between these two types of languages. When you take procedure oriented programming languages, first difference is in procedure oriented programming languages, program is divided into smaller parts called functions. Here in OOP means object oriented programming languages, the program is divided into smaller parts called objects. Here it is functions, here it is objects. That is the first difference between POP and OOP. POP means procedure oriented programming languages, OOP means object oriented programming languages. So the first difference is here the program is divided into smaller parts called functions. Here the program is divided into smaller parts called objects. The second one is the POP follows top-down approach, whereas OOP follows bottom-up approach. So here the third difference is there are no access specifiers in POP. But when you take OOP, means if you take Java, we have 4 access specifiers. They are private, default, protected and public. We will study these 4 access specifiers when we go to second unit. So in Java we have 4 access specifiers because Java is an object oriented programming language. So we can say object oriented programming languages have access specifiers like private, protected, public and default. But in POP there are no access specifiers. Next, when you take the fourth one, so it is easy to add the new data and functions in POP. But here when you take OOP, it is very easy to add the new data and functions. Next here, if you take procedural oriented programming languages, so here there is no way of hiding the data. So there is no security in case of, no security means less security in case of POP. But in case of OOP, so data hiding is possible. So here we will get more security in case of OOPs. How do we get security in case of object oriented programming languages is using this access specifier private. If you declare the data, means if you declare the variables and methods as private, then that data is secured. Means nobody can access that data. Only within the same class that data can be accessed. Outside the class we can't access this private data. So using the private access specifiers in object oriented programming languages, we will talk about security. So here object oriented programming languages provide data hiding. So here data hiding is not possible. If you take C language also, data hiding is not possible. But if you take Java language, data hiding is possible. This is the main difference between this POP and OOP. Next concept is overloading is not possible in case of procedural oriented programming languages, but it is possible in case of OOP. If overloading means in Java we can see function overloading. In C++ we can see operator overloading and function overloading. Function overloading means 2 or more functions having the same name and they may differ either in the number of parameters or order of parameters or type of parameters. The concept is nothing but function overloading. Means the same function can be used for multiple purposes. Means if you take sum function, we can use the sum function for adding 2 integers, for adding 3 integers, for adding 4 integers, or for adding 1 integer and 1 float. Like that we can use the same function named as sum. Means that concept is nothing but function overloading. So here like that operator overloading is also there, which is available in C++ language, but operator overloading is not there in Java language. So overloading means we can talk about operator overloading or function overloading. So overloading concept is available in object-oriented programming languages, but this concept is not available in procedure-oriented programming languages. Next, seventh difference is here functions are more important than data. Data is nothing but variables. In the last class we have discussed properties. No, properties or variables or data all are same only. So here functions are more important than data. But here in object-oriented programming languages, data is more important than functions. Here, whenever you take the real-time application like student, box, and employee, first we have to define the properties of that particular application. Suppose if it is student, the data can be, what is the data for student? Data is nothing but variables or properties. So last class we discussed. So the data for student class is roll number, name, marks, address, phone number, like that we can take. That is called data. So here in object-oriented programming languages, data is very, very important rather than these functions. But here in procedure-oriented programming languages like C language, if you take, C language. If you take C language, so for data is not that much important. Why? Because data means we will write int A, B, C, D, like that only variables we will take. Int A, B, C, D means what is the meaning of A, B, C, D? There is no meaning, no? But here meaning is there because we are using Java or we are using object-oriented programming languages to develop real-time applications. When you develop the real-time applications, like for bank account, or box, student, employee, so properties of that particular applications are more important when you compare with the functions. That's why in object-oriented programming languages, data is more important than functions. But here, data means we will take only any variables like A, B, C, D. There is no meaning for that data. But here, meaning is there for the data. With respect to that particular application only we have to take that data. But here, data can be int A, B, C or some, like that we will take. That's why here functions are more important than data. Next, the last difference between these two is these cannot be applied. Means procedure-oriented programming languages cannot be applied for real-time applications. Means these languages are not suitable for real-time applications. So C, Fortran, Pascal, these are called procedure-oriented programming languages. First they developed Fortran. After that the next one is Pascal. The next one is C. So initially the first procedure-oriented programming language is Fortran. Then Pascal, then C language. C language. So C language is not best suitable for real-time applications. But if you take all the object-oriented programming languages like C++, Java, R, and Python, and then C# also there, all these languages are best suitable for developing real-time applications. Okay, that is the last difference between procedure-oriented programming languages and object-oriented programming languages. This is very, very important question for exam point of view. Okay, next we will continue the last class. Now already we have discussed what is a class in the last class. So what is a class? So in Java, the two important terms are class and object. So what is the relation between class and object is, we will revise first this one, after that we will continue the next topics. So what is the difference between class and object is, class is a template of an object and object is an instance of the class. So how do we, first we will see how to write a class, after that we will see how to create objects for that particular class. So what is a class in Java means, the syntax for class is which is a keyword, and class name which is an identifier. So this is the functionality of that class. Within this, we will write only two parts, that is state part and behavior part. So the class in Java consists of only two parts, that is first one is state part and the second one is behavior part. So here class may contain only state part or only behavior part or both state and behavior parts. So already explained the real-time applications for classes, that is class student. I have explained three classes in the last class: class student, then class employee, then class box. So here already explained in the differences between POP and OOP. Data is more important. This is called data. Data means variables or properties. So data is, in C language we will call them as variables, but in Java language, even though they are variables, but we will call them as properties, because these three properties are related to this class student. That's why these are the properties of this class student. Don't write int A or B, C like this. The int A, float B, don't write like that in Java. Okay, if you want to use for loops or anything, you can use those type of variables. But actually, before starting writing this one, these variables, first see the application. Here the application is student application. So what are the properties of student? So first you have to take the properties of the student class. That's why here I have taken roll number, name and marks are the properties of the student. That's why property is nothing but variable only, no? So each and every variable must be declared with a particular data type. In Java language, data types we will study in the second unit. First understand roll number is a variable which is of integer data type. Name is a variable which is of string data type. Marks is a variable which is of float data type. So data types we will study later, and these are called roll number, name and marks are called identifiers. Student is also an identifier. Class name is also an identifier. Like that, roll number, name and marks are also identifiers. So in the second unit, we will study what is an identifier and what are the rules for writing identifiers. Based on the rules of identifiers only, we have to take the identifiers. Okay, so here the important points are: class is a keyword, so we have to discuss about keywords. Next, student is an identifier. Roll number, name and marks are also identifiers, so we have to discuss identifiers. Next, after that, int, string and float, these are data types. So in the second unit, we will study identifiers, then keywords, then data types. Okay, now how to read this statement is: roll number is a variable which is of integer data type. Name is a variable which is of string data type. If you take C language, to define a string variable, we have to take character array. But in Java language, directly predefined class is available, that is string. So string is a predefined class. So here in Java, there are two types of classes: user-defined classes and predefined classes. So when you write student, this is called user-defined class, because we are defining this class on our own. That's why student is called user-defined class. And here if you take string is called predefined class. So Java developers have developed some predefined or have defined some predefined classes like string. So string is the predefined class which is used for storing the string variables or string names. So name is a variable which is of string data type. Similarly, marks is a variable which is of float data type. So here inside the class I have written three variables which is nothing but state part, and I have used only one function, that is display details, which comes under behavior part. So any class in Java consists of state part and behavior part. State part is nothing but variables part. Behavior part is nothing but methods or functions part. So if you understand this class definition, then it is easy to write Java programs. So here throughout Java, we will talk about classes and objects. That's why you need to understand what is a class and how to define a class. After defining the class, how do we create the objects for that particular class? Sequence is, first you have to define the class. After that only, for that class we can define any number of objects. Means once we define the class, we can create any number of objects for that class. So in the sequence, first you should write class. After that you should create objects. Okay. Now we have studied class concept. So how do we write class? Already we know. Class consists of only two parts, state part and behavior part. Each and every class has a specific name. That's why here I have taken three classes to explain the class concept. Class, student. So in this class I have state part and behavior part. Like that, the other classes are class, employee. See, these properties must be related, or these variables must be related to this employee class only. Don't write blindly. First define the class. What is your class? Here class is a keyword. My class is employee. So while writing the state part, see the properties of this employee. You can write any number of properties. Okay. After that, write the methods to use this data. This part is nothing but data. So functions are used to use this data and to do something on this data. That is the main functionality of any function in Java. So inside the function, we will use this data. Next, box is one more class I have written in the last class. Inside the box class, I have three variables, width, height and depth, and I have two methods. So these three variables are on the state part and these two methods are under behavior part. Okay. So in Java, runtime errors are called exceptions. In Java, we have two types of errors, compile time errors and runtime errors. Compile time errors means the Java compiler will compile each and every line as per the syntax of the language. Compiler knows the syntax of the language like us. Based on the syntaxes only, the compiler will check the syntax of each and every line. Okay, if it finds any syntax problems, it will give you compiler errors. So compiler will check only syntax errors. What are runtime errors? Means during the execution, suppose if you take int a is equal to b by 0. B by 0 means anything by 0 is infinity, no? So it can't find the value for b by 0. At that time, you will get runtime error. So it is, and this runtime error is known as exception. One separate chapter is there in Java, that is exception handling. How do we handle the exceptions? So here when you take c is equal to b by 0, it will give you an exception saying that it is arithmetic exception. So exception is nothing but a class. Okay, what is the exception corresponding to b by 0 is arithmetic exception. Like that we have to study exception handling, which is very, very important in Java. Multi-threading and exception handling. These two topics are very, very important in Java. So after understanding the class concept, now I will write a simple Java program. Object class, see here, two concepts are very, very important now. So class and object now. So I already explained class concept. In today's class, we will write small programs using only class concept. Next class, I will explain object. How do we create objects after defining the class? Okay, in today's class, I will not focus on object. Already we know how to write a class, and we will write small programs to understand the class concept more clearly without using objects. Now, this is the simple program. So class name. So here the class name is A. So in this I will write only main method. So main method syntax is this one. You should write the same syntax whenever you want to use main method in Java language. In C language, it is only simply void main and no parameters. But in Java language, this entire syntax we need to write. Otherwise, you will get error, compile time error. Syntax for main method is public static void main. Parameter is string args. It is an array which is of string data type. This parameter we must write. So this the syntax for main method in Java is public static void main string args. Okay, we need to write the same syntax whenever you want to use main method in Java programming. But the meaning is there for this line. Now next I will explain what is public, what is static. Void anyway you know, no? Void means it is not returning anything. And what is the meaning of this parameter? The main purpose of this parameter is for command line arguments. These slowly I will explain. Now we will write only the syntax as it is. Now public static void main string args. Next, inside the main method, this is the simple program. Now I want to print something on the console. So how do what I want to print is hello to Java. So here in C language, to print anything on the console, we need to take only printf statement. But here in Java, we need to take system.out.println of hello to Java. It must be in the double quotes. So whatever is there in the double quotes, that will be printed as it is on the console. So but here instead of printf statement in C language, we use in Java system.out.println. System is a predefined class like string. String already explained no? In the previous class. So S is capital. So system is a predefined class. I will also explain the meaning of what is system.out.println later. Okay. Now to print any statement on the console in Java programming language, we need to use system.out.println of hello to Java. So this is only one class I have taken in this program. See here I don't want to create any object for this class. Okay, simply I have taken one class. Here if you observe, there is no state part. See, this is only behavior part. Behavior part is nothing but methods. So inside this class I have written only one method, that is main method. So this comes under behavior part, only behavior part. So already explained, a class may contain only state part, only behavior part, or both. If you observe, if you take only state part in the class, there is no use of that class. Means if you declare only variables, what is the use of those variables? Some function must use the variables of that class, no? That's why a class, already you know a class may contain only state part or only behavior part like this, or both state part and behavior part. But if a class which contains only state part, means there is no meaning of that class. That's why that is meaningless. So the appropriate ways of writing classes are the class may contain only behavior part. It is meaningful, no? Means when you execute this program, you will get the output as hello to Java. That's why, so you can write the classes with only behavior part or with both state and behavior parts. So this is a class which consists of only behavior part. Here the behavior part consists of only one method, that is a main method. So this is the simple program in Java. So here it consists of only one class. Already explained, a Java program may contain any number of classes. There is no restriction on the number of classes in a Java program. It is a simple Java program now. That's why I have taken only one class. That too inside that class I have taken only one method, that is main method, to print hello to Java on the console. Now after writing the class, now you should know how do we save this file and how do we compile and execute this file. These three are very, very important. Now I will explain how do we save this file is with .java extension. Here the class name is A. So class name .java. So you need to save the Java programs with class name .java. So here the class name for this class is A. So I have to save this file as a.java. Next after that, how do we compile and execute after saving this file. So compilation is Java C is the compiler here. So Java C class name dot Java means how do we compile this program is Java C A dot Java. So the compiler will compile this program line by line. First it will check this line whether any syntax errors are there in this line. After that this one, next this one, next this one, next this one. As per the syntax of the programming language, the compiler will check for compiler errors. Here in this program there are no compiler errors. That's why when you compile this program using Java C A dot Java, so it will give you no compiler errors. And what is the output after the compilation is, for each class in Java program, for every class in Java, there is a dot class file will be created by the compiler. Means the output after the compilation is A dot class. See, A dot Java is the program name. Compilation is Java C A dot Java. So after compilation with Java C A dot Java, you will get one file that is A dot class. A dot class. So what is there in the A dot class file is bytecode of this program is there in that A dot class. You can't understand the bytecode of A dot class file. So A dot Java means this programmer has written this code. Now we can understand A dot Java file, but you can't understand A dot class file. So after compilation, the output is A dot class. It consists of bytecode. Okay, that is the output of after compilation. Next is after compilation we have A dot class file. Next, how do we execute this program is using Java class name. Means Java A. Here don't write A dot Java. Why I will explain. So how do we execute this program is using Java only class name. So Java A means here all the programs of Java are executed by JVM. JVM means Java Virtual Machine. So here compiler is different and JVM is different. Compiler will do the compilation of this program and JVM will execute this program. So whenever you write Java file name, means what it will do is, so the JVM will come into picture and the JVM will consider the A dot class file which is generated after compilation. So the JVM will take A dot class file only. The JVM will not go to this actual file. So whenever JVM will execute this program, it will consider the A dot class file which is generated after compilation. That's why here don't write A dot Java. Because when you write Java A dot Java, it means that we are saying that go to A dot Java file. But JVM will consider only dot class file now. That's why don't write A dot class or A dot Java. Single A means it is understood. For JVM can understand that it is A dot class. So it will go to the A dot class file and it will execute that A dot class file. Okay. After executing A dot class file, it will print this statement that is hello to Java on the console. So JVM will print this statement on the console. Compiler will do only compilation part. And if any compiler errors are there, then compiler gives the compiler errors as per the syntax. But as per the semantics, JVM will execute the program. Semantics means meanings. Okay, 10 by 0 means it can't understand. That's why it will give you runtime error. JVM will give you runtime errors. Compiler will give you the compile time errors. So these three statements are very, very important. How do we save the file, compile the file and execute the file? Saving the file is class name.java and compilation is Java C, A.java and execution is only Java A. Means here JVM will take the A.class file generated by the compiler. It will execute that A.class file. So after execution of A.class file, the output will be hello to Java. So this is the simplest program. So here if you observe, I have taken only one class. Inside that class I have written main method. See who will invoke the main method is, this JVM will invoke the main method. So always the main is the first method to be executed. So who will invoke in Java language? Main method is invoked by JVM. But in C language, main method is invoked by the operating system. That is one more difference between C language and Java language with respect to main method. So in Java program, main method is invoked by JVM, and in C language, main method is invoked by the operating system. So here this program is, inside this class I have written only one method, that is main method. Whenever JVM starts execution, first it invokes the main method. So inside the main method, it finds only one statement, that is this statement. So that's why this is printed on the console as output. So the meaning of this program is like this. Here why it is simplest program is, I have taken only one class, and inside that class I have taken only one method, that is main method. Now I will take one more program which consists of two classes, and in both the classes I have written main method. This is also correct. So in a Java program, we can take any number of classes, that is the first point, and inside in any number of classes we can write main method. Okay, now I will explain this concept. So now here I have one class A, and inside that hello to Java I have written. Next inside the main method of class A I have written hello to Java. Next inside the main method of B class I have written hello to Java B. Here you can write A, hello to Java A or hello to Java B. Now we will see how do we save this file and how do we compile and execute, because main method is there in both the classes. So we can write main method in any number of classes in Java, no error. Remember this point. But how to execute this main method and how to execute the main method of B class, I will explain now. Because main method is there in both the classes now. Now I will explain how do we save this. This is only one program, remember. Class A and class B both are there in the same file, means it is considered as only one Java program. Now I will explain how do we save this program. Now so here first point is to save this program. So you need to, we can take either A.Java or B.Java or any other name also you can take. No need to take A.Java or B.Java. I will take C.Java, that is also correct. I can take Ramu.Java, that is also correct. So this file can be saved with either A.Java or B.Java or Ramu.Java. All the three are correct. So we can save this file with A.Java or B.Java or C.Java. Because class C is not there now. Even though that class is not there in this file, but it is possible to save this file with C.Java. So that is the first important. How do we save this file? This is only one file, means only one program. So I can save this file as A.Java or B.Java or C.Java. Okay, this is up to saving the file. Okay, we can save it as A.Java or B.Java or C.Java. Okay. Next, after saving the file, how to compile this file. So if you save the file with A.Java, so we can compile with Java C A.Java. When you write Java C A.Java, what will happen is for each and every class of this file, dot class file will be generated. So after compilation with A.Java, so you will get A.class and B.class. Both the files you will get. Means in Java for each and every class, after compilation dot class file is created for each and every class in that file. So when you compile with A.Java or B.Java or C.Java, you will get only two dot class files. They are A.class and B.class. This is one more important point in case of compilation. After compilation, the compiler will produce dot class file for each and every class of that program. So here in this program I have only two classes. So after compilation, whether you compile with A.Java or B.Java or C.Java, only two dot class files are created. They are A.class and B.class. This is up to compilation. Okay. Next, now after compilation, we have A dot class and B dot class files are there. Both the dot class files contain bytecode of that class. Next, bytecode cannot be understood by programmer. It can be understood by the JVM only. That's why when the JVM executes the program, it will consider only dot class file. Okay, so dot class file consists of bytecode. Bytecode is understood by JVM only. We can't understand the bytecode of any class. Okay, you can open the dot class file and you can see. Next, so if you want to execute this program, after compilation, I have two dot class file. They are A dot class file and B dot class file. Now, how do we execute when we have two dot class files? Means if you want to execute the main method of class A, you have to execute the A dot class file. That's why when I write during execution, if I write Java A, means the main method of means Java A means A dot class file is executed by JVM. No, A dot class file means this class means the main method of class A will be executed. Then when you write in execution, when you write Java A, the output will be hello to Java. When you write B, Java B, then this B dot class file is executed by JVM. In that case, the output is hello to Java B. Even though you write main method in both the classes, but during the execution, the JVM will check which dot class file has to be executed. It will execute only one dot class file. If you want to execute main method of A class, then write during execution Java A. Then JVM will execute this main method. If you want to execute main method of B class, write Java B. Means the B dot class file is executed by JVM and the output is hello to Java B. Now you may get one doubt here. Now if you save this file with any other name like C, if I save this file as Java, this file name .java, C.java, okay, but C class is not there in this one. So if you save this file with C.java, that is correct only. Next, after compilation, when you write Java C, C.java, when you compile with C.java, then what will happen is, again the two dot class files are created because we have taken the file name as C.java. When you compile Java C, C.java, again the compilation output is same. Whether you save with A.java or B.java or C.java, up to compilation same. Means only two dot class files are created after compilation when you compile with A.java or B.java or C.java. When you compile with C.java also, two dot class files are created. Okay, up to compilation, there is no problem. If you compile with A.java or B.java or C.java, only two dot class files are created. Remember this point. Next, coming to execution. Suppose if I execute, already explained, when you execute with A, the main method of A class will be executed. When you execute with B, Java B, means this will be executed. Now you may get one question. Suppose if you execute with Java C, because we have saved the file with C.java and we have compiled the file with C.java. When you compile with C.java, only two dot class files are provided by the compiler. They are A dot class and B dot class. Next, coming to execution, if you execute Java C, what will happen is, first the JVM will check whether C dot class file is available or not. Because JVM will execute only dot class file. It will not execute the program. So when you write Java C, JVM searches for C dot class file. But C dot class file is not available. Why? Because only here we have two classes. That's why after compilation we will get only A dot class and B dot class files. But when it searches for C dot class file, it is not available. Means it is called runtime error. Means JVM does not get the C dot class file. So what it will give you is, the output is runtime error. saying that class not found exception. Because C.class file is not available now. That's why it is runtime exception, and the name of the exception is class not found exception. When you study exception handling, we will study this type of exceptions. So this is very, very important. We can write main method in any number of classes, but which main method you want to execute, only during the runtime you give that .class file. If you want to execute main method of A, write Java A. If you want to execute main method of B, write Java B. Like that, we can execute the main method of that particular class during the execution by giving the .class file to the JVM at execution time. Next here, so with that simple programs over. Now the technology we will see. So in Java we will see the technology. So classes are important, then interfaces, then packages. If you take any Java program, we will write the Java program with respect to these three concepts only. So classes, interfaces, and packages. We will study in this order: classes first, then interfaces, then packages. In package, we need not learn any new things. Package is nothing but it is a collection of classes and interfaces. So package is a collection of classes and interfaces. So inside one package, we will store classes and interfaces. That's why here there is nothing to know in packages. So main concentrate or focus on classes and interfaces. These two are very, very important in Java. Okay, after understanding these two, we will write the packages to put the classes and interfaces in that package. So in Java, the three important concepts are classes, interfaces, and packages. So here regarding containers in Java, there are three containers in Java. They are classes, abstract classes, and interfaces. Classes and abstract classes both are almost the same, but only small difference is there. A class which is declared as abstract keyword is nothing but abstract class. Otherwise, it is also same class concept only. Only few differences are there between classes and abstract classes. I will explain these two. So here the containers in Java: classes, abstract classes, and interfaces. So in classes, we have again two types of classes. Whether it is class or abstract class, we have only two. The classes are divided into two categories: predefined classes and user-defined classes. Already explained some of the predefined classes in Java. String already explained system.out.println. This is a predefined class. Thread and object. Object is the very, very important predefined class. I will explain later. So the sum of the predefined classes in Java are string, system, thread, object, etc. Next, user-defined classes already we created: student, employee, bank account, box. So these classes are developed by Sun developers. So predefined classes are designed by Sun developers, but these are user-defined classes. These are designed by the programmers. They're like that. The classes are of two types: predefined and user-defined. Next, again, interfaces are also two types: predefined and user-defined. So predefined classes are one example is runnable. Here user-defined means we can create our own interfaces like a table. Okay, so interfaces are of two types: predefined and user-defined. Next, packages are also of two types: built-in or predefined or user-defined. So some of the built-in packages are java.lang, java.util, java.io, java.awt. We will study in depth later. So now remember, classes are of two types and interfaces are of two types, packages are of two types. So these are some of the predefined packages, and we can write our own user-defined packages, that is pack1, pack2. These are the names of the packages which are user-defined packages. Next, we will see how do we write the user-defined packages. Okay. Next, package is, you can assume that package is, so here if you take java.lang, this is the main package and this is the sub package. Like assume that package is like a folder. Inside one folder we can put subfolders as well as files now. Like that, inside package we can put sub packages as well as classes and interfaces. Already explained, package is a collection of classes and interfaces. So in this is here, Java is a main package and Lang is a sub package. So inside one package I can put sub package. Inside this sub package I can put classes or interfaces. Like that here you can compare package with folder. So inside one folder I can put any number of subfolders. Like that inside that folder I can put any number of files. Inside subfolder also I can put any number of files. If you compare package with this, these files are nothing but classes and interfaces. So a package is a collection of classes and interfaces. That's why these files are nothing but classes and interfaces. Okay. Next, coming to this predefined packages, java.lang, Java is the main package. Here already explained. Java.lang, these are the built-in packages which we will study in our course. Java.lang is very important package. This is called default package. I will explain this one. So java.lang, java.util, java.io, java.awt, these are the important built-in packages which we use in our course. Now, so here I will explain the predefined package. So java.lang is a predefined package. Java is the main package and lang is the sub package. So inside this sub package I have 3 classes. They are, so inside the predefined packages they will put only predefined classes or predefined interfaces. Inside user-defined classes, we can put our user-defined classes and interfaces. Because we know java.lang is a predefined package. So in this package, they have kept the classes like string, system, object, and runnable also there. Runnable is a predefined interface, already explained in interfaces, no? This runnable interface, that is a predefined interface, which is there in java.lang package. While writing the notes here, add runnable. So here what we can, how to read this is, Java is the main package, lang is the sub package. So inside this package, I can put some classes and packages, not packages, classes and interfaces. So what are the predefined classes are here string. So what we can say is string, the predefined class string is available in the package java.lang. Like that, system is a predefined class which is available in java.lang package. Object is a predefined class which is available in java.lang package. Like that, runnable. Runnable is a predefined interface which is available in java.lang package. Like that, first we should know the terminology. So classes and interfaces which are there in the package. So a package is a collection of classes and interfaces. So predefined packages consist of only predefined classes and predefined interfaces. Okay. Now the same thing I have put in the hierarchical structure. So Java is the main package. Under that the sub packages are java.lang, util, io, and awt. These are some of the sub packages under Java, under the main package Java. So Java is the main package. Under the main package Java, we have the sub packages like lang, util, io, and awt. After that, this is the level 1 tree structure, level 2. Next in level 3, so in the lang pack, in the sub package lang, there are predefined classes and interfaces. So here I can put, see same I am writing in this one, in this structure. So here what are the predefined classes? So object, string, system, and here put one interface runnable. So here how to access these? So how to access these last level classes and interfaces is using Java using dot operator. So Java lang dot object. Next, suppose if you want to access string class, Java lang string or Java lang system. Or if you want to access this sub package util, then Java util. Okay, we will see some of the classes which are there in util sub package later. Now understand the terminology. This is main package. Under this we have sub packages. Under each sub package we have classes and interfaces. All these are predefined only. We should know how to use the predefined classes, interfaces, and packages. We can't change. Next, how do we access system classes? Java.lang.system. Next, so if you want to access all the classes and interfaces of java.lang, how do we access is using this statement java.lang.star. Star means all the classes and interfaces which are there in java.lang package are available. How do you import all the classes and interfaces of java.lang is using import statement. Import is a keyword. Java.lang is a default package. So in each and every program, the first statement must be import java.lang.star. Already explained the meaning of java.lang.star. Star indicates that all the classes and interfaces, these are the classes and interfaces, no? All the classes and interfaces of java.lang are available. And how to import them is using this import keyword. So the statement is import java.lang.star. Java.lang is the default package which is available to all the Java programs. And how do we import all the classes and interfaces of java.lang is using import java.lang.star. The meaning of this semicolon, the meaning of this statement is we are importing all the predefined classes and interfaces of java.lang to our program. Means in our program we can directly use object class, string class, system class and runnable interface. Like that we can use them directly after writing this statement, import java.lang.star. Now suppose .star means all the predefined classes and interfaces are imported now. Space waste no, all are imported to your program. In addition to your classes, in the previous program I have written class A and class B no. So in addition to those classes, when you write this statement, that is import java.lang.star, in your program we have class A, class B, and also object class is available, string class is available, system class is available, the interface runnable is also available. So by writing only one statement, we can import all the classes and interfaces of java.lang, that is using star. Here what is the drawback is, if you are writing .star, even though if you are using only system class or string class in your program, but we are all the classes are imported now, means space problem now. That's why to avoid that, whichever class you want to use in your program or in your program, you import only that particular class. Suppose if I want to use only object class in addition to my classes A and B of the previous program, in that case what I will write is import java.lang.object. Means instead of importing all the classes and interfaces of java.lang, I am importing only one particular class object. Only this class is imported to your program in addition to your classes A and B. So in your program you may think three classes are available, that is A, B and object. Like that if you want to access only two classes. So how do we write is import java.lang.string, system. Like that if you want to access only, if you want to import only two classes, we can use commas to access any number of classes. Or if you want to write .star, all classes will be available. If you know that if you want to access only one class, then you can mention that class. Okay, it is the better way of writing instead of writing .star. So this is the first statement in any Java program, and this is the default package which is available to all Java programs whether you write or not. This statement you need not write explicitly. Suppose if you write also correct, no problem. But if you want to write this statement explicitly in your program, this must be the first statement. That's why first start writing the program like this. So in the previous two programs also, I can write the first statement as, here this is program 2, here I will write import java.lang.star. See here we have not written now, but without writing import java.lang.star, here I am using directly system. S is capital, system. How can we use system class? But in your class, in your program, we have written only two classes, class A and class B. But directly we are using system. Where is system class? It must be there now if you want to use system class in your program. But it is not there in this program. See, how we are getting system class to our program is by writing import java.lang.star. In java.lang package, system class is available. But here we have not written that statement. Why? Because import java.lang.star is the default statement or default package which is available to all the Java programs. That's why whether you write or not, no problem. Initially, if you want to write. Then only you can understand the concept. Why we are using system class? Where is system class? System class is not there in the program. That's why system class is there in java.lang package. That's why here import java.lang.star semicolon. You write initially in the beginning programs. After that you can omit. Because whether you write or not, that is the statement which is provided by the compiler as the first statement for any Java program. So that is the importance of import java.lang.star. So java.lang is the default package which is available to all the Java programs, whether you write or not. But initially, first you put this statement, after that you write the classes. So what is the important statement in any Java program is import java.lang.star, and you should be able to explain the importance of this statement. Okay. So with this here we will stop. Next class we will continue.